always tells me if you're on time, you're late.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Tour Pro Talks. I'm Genevieve White, travel and tourism copywriter and coach, and I am so excited today to find out more about Instagram and learn from a true expert, Paul Anderson, aka the social media hotelier. Welcome today, Paul. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Jenny. And hello, Jenny. Hello, everybody. Can't wait to get stuck in.
Brilliant. Well, just before we do get stuck in, just a few words from me. I'd just like to say, first of all, again, a little bit about Paul. So, Paul, you have the distinction of being, I think, the only guest I have ever met in real life before the session. So I met Paul back in April at the Short Stay Summit, and in just 10 minutes, Paul told me more. I learned more about Instagram from Paul in 10 minutes than I had done in over a year of trying to figure it out on my own. So he really is an absolute, a fount of knowledge when it comes to Instagram. He's a best-selling author. He is a retired host himself, and he shares so much value on his Instagram channel and on his email list. And at the end of today's session, I'll be sharing more information about how you can work with Paul. We're going to get straight down to business in just a moment. But first of all, as ever, a warm welcome to our lovely audience. It would be great if you shared as, there's a comment from Alex saying, digital is real life. Well, yes, I suppose you're right, Alex. To a great extent nowadays it is. Welcome, Alex. Everyone else, do say hello, say who you are, say where you're watching or listening from. And we're going to be answering, Paul is going to be answering questions at the end. But in the meantime, if there's anything about Instagram that really bugs you, that's bothering you, if you've got any questions, just put them in the comments as we go. Here's Hang. Hello, Hang. Just put them in the comments and we'll get down to answering questions at the end. But let's get started for now. Now, we're going to begin today's session. Oh, hello, Martin. Made it for the live session, but need to sort myself for a weekend in Scotland. Oh, nice. Right, let's get down to talking about business. Paul, in your experience, what are some of the main problems that hosts have and tour operators maybe have when it comes to promoting themselves on Instagram? What are the issues? What are some of the missed opportunities that you see?
Well, we're all on Instagram to try and get noticed, aren't we? But if we're honest, Instagram is an incredibly noisy place. It's full of amazing photos and videos and messages and captions, and our beautiful properties and our genuine hospitality can be very easy for that to get lost in this sea, this big soup of content. And so to stand out, it's very important that we don't just add to the noise, and that we create a clear signal that cuts through specifically to the right people. And I would call them our perfect potential guests. And because our content needs to cut through the billions of posts that are published every day, and then when someone lands on our profile, they need to instantly recognize that we are perfect for them and that they are perfect for us. The biggest mistake I see is skipping the essential first step of any form of marketing, and that's understanding on a very deep level to whom we are marketing. Not just who's already booking with us, not just an age range of 35 to 55 and happen to have a dog, but deep into the demographics, so specific ages, give them a name, family circumstances, reasons for traveling, and then to take that beyond into psychographics. And psychographics are what motivates and what moves our perfect potential guest from state A, wanting to visit our area, to state B, wanting to make a booking with us. And so to your question, what are the opportunities being missed? I would argue, till I'm blue in the face, that the big opportunity most hosts are missing is to effectively leverage Instagram and social media at large to target one specific type of person. And in so doing, teach the algorithms in front of whom to put our content so that we can then lead them through our profiles and onto our website. So the trick to pull off, I think, is to recognize that Instagram is not a one-to-many platform. We're not stood on a stage broadcasting. We're actually just talking to one person one person sitting on their sofa, lazing in bed, or on a train, because there's only ever one person on the other side of the telephone, of the mobile device.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that's something I talk about a lot as well. It really is thinking first and foremost about who you are speaking to. And I think absolutely as well, I think this will be ringing through with a lot of people, that noise that constantly is being generated. So, I mean, do you think, in your opinion, do people spend too much time posting content when they're not really paying attention to their profile?
I think if we think about a guest journey, and as a copywriter, you'll be very familiar with AIDA: attention, interest, discovery, and action. If we recognize that right at the top is attention and interest, and this is where people on Instagram are, what we want to do is we want the algorithms to put our content in front of them and it speak directly to them, and then pull them into almost a flywheel of content, so that when they are ready to discover more or to take action, we can then push them through the profile and onto our website or our listings. And so, yes, creating content is important. It's vital. If you're not creating content, then no one's going to see you as such. But your content, as well as how you make yourself discoverable, because people use searches on Instagram far more than many would recognize. It is one of the most powerful bits of kit within Instagram. So if people see a piece of content, or they discover us through a search, they're ultimately we would expect, and we would try and lead them to our profiles. Now, if our profiles don't speak to them, and they don't follow us, or they don't go through that link in bio, then essentially everything else that we do above that kind of pinch point, that constraint, is genuinely for nothing. If people aren't coming to our websites and listings, then we're literally just posting pretty pictures and words that might get the odd like, but we're not pushing people towards our marketing purpose.
And that is ultimately what it's all about. You can get all the likes in the world, but if you are not generating cash in bookings, then you're really kind of wasting your time, aren't you? So let's get on to speaking in a moment about how you can really optimize this all-important profile. But first of all, just a few hellos. Now, terrible admission to make, but I'm waiting for a new pair of glasses. So if I'm sort of squinting, it's because I can't always see everybody's names, or if I read your names totally wrong. But we've got a hello from Louise from Liverpool, and we've got Hara. Hello, Hara, and Gabriella. Excited to get started. Yes, let's go. Kyle. Hello, Kyle. And there's Suzanne from Boston, early morning. Is it live already? I think we were a little bit late, Suzanne, because we were chewing the fat before we got started. And there's Yvonne. Yeah, absolutely. Yvonne is agreeing with you there. And fantastic Paul Anderson from Geraint Jones. Sounds like you've got some fans in the audience today, Paul.
There are a couple of names I recognize. There are a few, yeah. Nice to see you here. Nice to have everybody here.
Yes, you're all very, very welcome. We're delighted to have you with us. Okay, so let's get on to the real juicy bit, Paul. And what I'm really wondering, if you could talk us through what makes a really, really good profile. So the essential elements of a good profile. And just a quick word to our audience. Feel free to take notes while Paul is talking, but I will also be summarizing this and putting this in the next newsletter. So if you'd rather just sit back and enjoy and drink the coffee and eat your sandwiches, that's fine too. So Paul, take it away.
Well, so as I alluded to earlier, I think, well, I've always been about releasing constraints in a business. Find the constraint, find the bottleneck, and release it. And so, as I said earlier, it doesn't matter how much reach your post achieves or your content achieves, i.e. how many people see your content. If they don't move through your profile and where they actually stand a chance to give you some of their hard-earned cash, then we are genuinely wasting our time. And so when someone lands on a profile, we have somewhere between 3 and 8 seconds to grab their attention. It is slightly age dependent. 3 for the youngsters, 8 for people who are like me, approaching 50. But in that 3 to 8 seconds, they will subconsciously decide to do one of 3 things. They'll decide, first, potentially that we're not for them, and they scroll away. And that's absolutely fine, because that shows the algorithm, don't put the content in front of that type of person. And if we targeted our content at a perfect potential guest, we should be attracting our perfect potential guest. The second thing that we would hope they would decide is that we could be for them when they want to travel to our area, but that could be a few months down the line. And so they follow us. The Holy Grail, and what we really want people to do ultimately, is to recognize that we are exactly what they need right now, and then they hit that link to find out more. So we have to maximize each and every one of those few brief sections, or seconds rather, to communicate clearly that we are perfect for them, they are perfect for us. And it does sound very, very challenging, but the good news is that we can break our profiles down into bite-sized pieces, and every element can be kind of redesigned on its own, so that when we assemble it together, we then stand a chance of compelling our perfect potential guest to move from awareness and interest to wanting to discover more, and then eventually taking action by visiting our websites or land pages. So there are 5 sections that I've identified to give people instantly, well, very, very swiftly actionable, low hanging fruit. Shall I work my way through them one by one, and then we'll kind of pause at each one?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing is the profile picture. Many, many, many hosts will use a beautifully shot photo of their property. But here's the problem with that. On Instagram, your profile picture is never bigger than a 5p piece. That's smaller than any coin in circulation in the entire English-speaking world or the Eurozone. And this profile picture, whether it's sitting above your content, whether it's at the top of your profile, which is where it's largest, next to your direct messages, alongside comments, it will never, ever be wider than 1.4 centimeters. So the bottom line for profile pictures is this. If you use a profile photo, all those gorgeous details, the windows, the garden, the hot tub, will be completely lost. And if you're going to use a logo with your website address or established in 1890, that type of thing, phone numbers, all those words will be completely illegible. So what might look amazing on a large screen becomes a fuzzy little thumbnail that means nothing to someone as they scroll past. So what should we use instead? And there are 2 great options. The first one would be to use one's face. If your property and your business is one that's very personal, where you're doing a lot of front of house, it's boutique, and you're part of the guest experience, that can be incredibly powerful. When I was running my guest house, I used, I don't know whether you might be able to pop this link into the comments, Jenny, but pfpmaker.com. You can take a picture of your face, go kind of just above your head, shoulder shot. You upload that in, it's completely free, and then you can replace the background behind you with your own branding, with your own color, and these types of things. So I did that for my guest house. And what that meant was that when I originally started, I was in my early 30s. People would come to the door and they'd be surprised I was so young, because it takes a lot of capital to have a guest house or a property empire. But what happened was people then instantly recognized me when I opened it. Oh, you must be Paul. And so we can connect ourselves to our properties and our service and our hospitality very, very early, right at the top of that funnel. The second option would be to use a very clean, a very clear logo. So if we think about the likes of Google, I'm sure we can all, mostly in our mind's eyes, imagine the various colors that say GOOGLE. What Google have done is they've changed that, and now they've got a little circle with a G with all of those colors. They've stripped it right back, so it's an icon rather than a logo. So if you manage multiple properties, or you're not comfortable putting your face up front and center, I wasn't comfortable doing it. In all honesty, after about 10 days, I never looked at it again. It was just there and I didn't worry about it. If you're more of a kind of clean, I'm not suggesting that solo property owners aren't professional, but if you're looking for more of that slightly corporate professional edge, then taking your logo, stripping all the words out of it and boiling it right down to something that has pop and is instantly recognizable would be the alternative. So your face, branded preferably, or an icon as a logo.
That sounds like absolutely brilliant advice there for just making that initial kind of, eye-popping impression. Eye-catching, not eye-popping, that sounds painful. I've put the link to PFP Maker in the comments. You should be able to find that. And if there's any any other links, I will be adding them as well, and also in the newsletter. Okay, brilliant. So what else then, Paul?
So number 2 would be your name field. If anyone in the audience has a mobile phone handy, do go to Instagram, go to your profile, and have a little look at the top. You'll see there's your @handle. That's your unique identifier of your account within Instagram, and there can never be duplicates of those. The name field is the section in bold, and what happens is when people register an account, they will do something like @Seaview Retreat, and then the name. Oh, my name is Seaview Retreat. So most hosts will put their business names, or as a result, they repeat their @handle. Those names might mean something to us. They mean nothing to someone searching, and they mean nothing to the algorithms. The key point here is that Instagram's name field is searchable. It's one of the first places that the algorithms will look. Granted, there are tens of thousands of them working at lightning speed, but it's prime real estate for returning a response to a search query. So if your name field just says Seaview Retreat, you'll probably be invisible to searches. But if your name field says Romantic Seaside Cabin Retreat, UK, it then becomes discoverable. So think of this like SEO for Instagram. So the more relevant words you use, the more likely you are to show up in front of the right guests. Got 64 characters max, and the important thing is to note that you can only change it twice in a 14-day period. So do plan it properly. I have had people who have a friend who works in a different industry called me up and said, I've got a poop emoji stuck in my name field. What do I do? And I had to say, I didn't use these words. I had to say, that's tough poop. And he went, really? Oh, that's so poop. And we had a conversation that way. So do be careful. Make sure you get it right. Do it in Word. Count the characters. There are Instagram character counters out there. I wouldn't recommend using emojis, but emojis will count for at least 2 characters, if not more. So the bottom line is treat your name field like a neon sign. Make it bright, make it clear, and make it easy to find across the platform. If you're using something like Google Analytics, if you have your own website, you can look at the words that people are using on Google to find your business. Those would be the words to aim for, because they're people, they're guests using language to search algorithms, and Instagram's algorithms will work in no dramatically different way than Google's.
I think that's brilliant advice. It's always so important to think about the words that your ideal guests are going to be using when they search for you, not necessarily the words that you would first think of, but the words they'll be using. Brilliant. And if we had more time, I would love to find out how that poop emoji got in there in the first place. But sadly, our time is limited, so I'll maybe ask you about that.
He's just got fat fingers. He's a large man.
Okay, it's as simple as that then. Brilliant. Okay, so these are 2 fantastic pieces of advice, and I believe you've got a few more for us. So sorry, I know you are having to do lots of speaking here, but I know that.
No, it's fine. I genuinely relish the opportunity. If I'm at the pub with my friends and I say anything about short-term accommodation or marketing, and then it's my round, by the time I come back with all the beers, the place is just completely cleared. So I love talking shop. This is fantastic. So there are 3 more points to make, or kind of sections for us to explore. Today, there are a lot more, but today, to give people that really easy, actionable steps. The third one is our bio. So the bio sits beneath the name field, and it's not just an intro. I see it as a conversion tool. So if it doesn't instantly show in these 3 to 8 seconds your perfect potential guest that they've landed in the right place by saying, this is perfect for you and you're perfect for us, they will just scroll away. And the best bios are short, they are clear, and they are compelling. They're not complex, and they don't use kind of waffly words like tranquility and oasis of this, that, and the other. So I teach my students to break them down into a simple 3-line structure that will convert lookers into people who are either following us or go onto our websites. So it's a 3-line structure, and the first line would be who do you host? Who is your perfect potential guest? And we need to make them feel seen. So if you spend time understanding your perfect potential guest, how can you start your bio to signal that you are essentially tailor-made for them? If you're looking for couples with dogs, say perfect for couples with dogs. And then when people see it, because they're skimming, they'll go, oh, we're a couple, we have a dog. Instead of, oh, we've got all this nature around us, which isn't specific, it's not targeted. So we can call out our perfect potential guest. Line 2 is what I would say, how we host. So who do we host and how do we host? And this is the opportunity to highlight our key selling points or USPs that matter specifically to our perfect potential guests. So it's important to think of what are the 2 or 3 things that make your place perfect for them. It could be something as simple as Sleeps 8, high-speed Wi-Fi, concierge services, or welcome hamper. So people will instantly, your perfect potential guest, having been called out, oh, we're a couple with a dog. Those are the things that we're going to be interested in. They've got those things. So we focus on the benefits that appeal to our specific perfect potential guests here. And then the third line is a call to action. We need to tell people exactly what we want them to do next. It's very easy for us to assume that everybody will know, oh, if I want to find out more, I'll tap the link in bio, or I'll send a direct message, or I'll call you. But if we give them a specific direction and we're careful not to overwhelm with too much choice, then we can very actively point them at, this is what we want you to do next. So the call to action could be something like, book your connected, secluded cabin with an arrow pointing at your link. Or direct message us for deals and promos, something along those lines. But be very clear and very specific. So we are permitted up to 150 characters in our bios. And on some mobile devices, it varies between device, Instagram will truncate and cut off the end of the bio. So if it's too long, it will hide our call to action behind ... more button. And every step in that process will add friction. So we keep it concise. We aim for the 3 lines to be fewer than 120 characters or so across that 3-line structure. Who do we host? How do we host them? What do we want them to do next? And that will get our bio nice and tight. It's a very difficult exercise because we want to tell everybody everything. Oh, we've got this, and we've got these reviews, and we've got 4-star awards here, there, and everywhere. We keep it very, very punchy. Because when we do that, it then becomes genuinely one of the most powerful quick wins that you could implement today. And that will give you an opportunity to make your profile more of a conversion magnet rather than, oh, we're really highly rated, we're really good at service, we're really, really clean, and then stop, which is genuinely what many hosts do. So the risk of repeating myself, who do you host? Call out the perfect potential guest. How do you host them? Unique selling points that speak specifically to them. What do you want them to do next?
That's so clear. I just love the way you've laid that out, Paul. And yeah, the wonderful thing about it is, as well, as you say, it's so actionable. So although that bit you've just spoken about definitely does take a little bit of thought, you know, it is something that you can sit down and just do, and then voila, you will start to notice a difference for sure. Okay, so Paul, we are very short of time.
Okay.
So we'll maybe go through the next 2 bits fairly speedily, if you don't mind. And in the meantime, to our lovely audience, now is probably the time to start putting your questions into the comments so that we don't have any lag. If there aren't any, if we don't have time to answer all the questions, I'll be suggesting how you can ask your questions to Paul in a moment. So Paul, yes, 4 and 5, you can just put these 2 together.
Good, excellent. So just to go very, very briefly back to number 3, you can edit your bio at will. You can do it as many times as you like, so long as you don't do it super back to back, because Instagram will assume you're a robot and they'll freeze you temporarily. So number 4 is what I would call exit points everywhere. And it's one that most hosts don't really even know exists. It's all the extra exit points that we've accidentally left sitting wide open on our profile. Things like the category label, the bit that says that you're a hotel or a bed and breakfast, that type of thing, holiday rental. The other one would be your Facebook button. There's if you have Thread set up, there's a thread link. All of these are clickable, which means that every single one is like an escape hatch that will lead people back to the top of the funnel surfing around social media, or worse, to another platform or to a competitor. So if someone was to tap your category label that says, I don't know, vacation rental, Instagram will take them to a whole list of other vacation rentals. We really, really don't want that. Not helpful. Now, Meta does want us to connect these Threads, Facebook, WhatsApp, and it will reward accounts that do by giving extra reach. And so it's important that we do keep them connected in the back end, but then we could hide them from our profile picture, because every visible exit point is a distraction, and every distraction will reduce our chances of getting that booking. So you can do that in the edit profile section. Go to edit profile, scroll down, and you can toggle them to hide them. That's number 4. Swiftly on. Number 5, your link in bio, and this one is a proper killer. It's a silent killer, because it feels like we're being helpful. I know this, having been a host, but we often think, right, I'll give them options. I give them Airbnb, VRBO, my direct website, my blog, and my guest book. But too many options will create choice paralysis. If there are any parents here this afternoon, put your hands up in the comments if you have kids, because you are totally going to recognize this. If I set my 6 and my 8-year-old children down in front of Disney Plus and I say, pick something to watch for 20 minutes, they will spend 19 minutes scrolling, arguing, bickering, dithering, 1 minute panicking, and then World War III just breaks out in my lounge because they've run out of time. If, however, I say, would you like to watch this DVD or this DVD for 20 minutes? They choose in a snap. The DVD goes into our old steam-powered machine, and all is well with the world. Well, maybe for 20 minutes or so. And guests are no different. The more links we give them, the more decisions they have to make. And then the more likely they are to bounce without actually clicking anything. So here's the rule. 1 purpose, 1 link. If your goal is bookings, then the link should go directly to your booking page. Don't give people a maze of options. Give them a single door and invite them essentially to walk through it. There are lots of other things to talk about: locations, contact buttons, WhatsApp, highlights, pin posts. But as you said, we are on a clock, and just going through these 5, if everyone was to play this back and go through these steps, it will significantly impact your follower growth and your external links to websites and listings. And the bottleneck, then, that constraint becomes a portal, and we finally stand a chance of leading people through it. And then we might get, or we will get, a return on investment.
Wow. I mean, what a lot of amazing advice. Here's Martin saying that he's going to rewatch this as many times as it takes. And I think, yes, we would all be well advised to do that. And Instagram advice and parenting advice in half an hour. I mean, now, because we're so short on time, we're just going to have one quick question. And this is from Hang. And she's asking, so I think she's wanting to widen this up into, so, obviously, as someone who works with hosts, you've been giving lots of STR friendly suggestions. But I mean, this can all be applicable to travel brands, selling tours and safaris and stuff like that as well. It's the same principles, isn't it, Paul?
Absolutely right. So is it, how can travel brands selling to different audiences like student tours? So for me, as soon as I see very different audiences, I think separate accounts required. It's important to recognize that the algorithms, I often get people go, oh, the algorithm hates me. I go, no, the algorithm doesn't hate you. It's because you've got bodies up in Scotland and you're suddenly talking about your visit to see your son in Malaga. The algorithms don't know anything. They're not learning anything about you. So if we're consistently talking to one person and we're creating content that's going to give them value, the algorithms will put that content in front of our followers, and the followers that then engage with it will go, okay, the people who like this type of content exhibit these behaviors. Somewhere in excess of about 54,000 data points per account. They're really, really highly informed, because the only purpose in life is to keep people on the platform for as long as possible. The longer people are on the platform, the more paid ads that can be put in front of them, and the more paid ads that are put in front of them, the more money Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, and his shareholders make. So if we recognize that the algorithms are our friends in that regard, and that they need training over time, we need to be very, very singular with our audiences. And so if you're trying to use one account to sell student tours and luxury safaris and this property and that property, and they might be in different locations, the algorithms are never going to really understand, because it's so broad, in front of whom to put that content. So I would strongly recommend separating those out. One account for one target audience.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean that may seem like a lot of work, maybe seems like a bit of a faff, but it will just be worth it in the end, in terms of what you get back from it. Okay, now I can't believe it, but we're pretty much at the end. So we've just had time for one question. If you have questions that you would like to ask Paul, first thing to say is follow him on Instagram at Social Media Hotelier. I'll put that in the comments as well. And actually, this is a special day because this is on Thursdays. Paul does his Ask Me a Question day. So you can go over to Instagram and you can just take advantage of this. And if you haven't managed to get your question asked today, you can ask it over on Instagram and Paul will be very happy to answer it for you. I'd also strongly suggest signing up to Paul's email list because I've learned a lot since I subscribed. And finally, you may have seen that I announced earlier on today that Paul's got something pretty special that we'd like to share with you. And Paul, can we maybe just close with you telling everybody a little bit about what that is, how you can help them?
Absolutely, yeah, this is brilliant. Thank you, Jenny. And so for everyone listening, if this idea of building a proper system resonates, fixing your profile and then building a calm, effective content plan on top. And as Jenny said, I have something really, really exciting. It's in the build at the moment. The core of what I've been teaching and the trainings that I've been delivering that have had, number one, the most impact on hosts, but also have got the most amazing feedback, is to fix up the profile. That sits at the core. And that's what I would call the bio breakthrough kind of blueprint. And the content system is the comprehensive program that I'm adding on top called the Calm Host Content System. Now, I almost never do this, but for the first time, I'm going to launch a special founding member type bundle. It will include the entire Calm Host Content System, plus the bio breakthrough and a bonus guide called the Social Proof Snapshot Strategy, because people are always posting up screenshots of large blocks of text reviews, and there are far more simpler, repeatable ways of doing it. It demonstrates how to move from those boring screenshots or hand-scrawled thank you notes into eye-catching subliminal that's a mouthful, subliminal messages on your profile's grid feed. All of these components will be sold separately after I've launched the bundle. That'll go live for about a week. But for this special founding member launch, it'll be £77 for all of the training. I will be opening the doors on Tuesday, June the 24th, and it will only be available for a limited time. It's still in the build. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss out and you want to get all the details of what's included when I do launch it, I've set up a little special registration page. So I use Flowdesk. It's quite a mouthful link, but the link to go to would be tinyurl.com/calm host content.
Yeah, I'll put that in the comments as well. That sounds fantastic. And what a bargain as well when you think of the returns that you'll get from doing all that work on your Instagram profile.
It is. So if people pop their email in there, they'll be the first to know when the doors open. They'll see how the breakdown will look when I separate it all out, because it's more than a 50% discount. And yeah, I've just very much look forward to seeing people go, yeah, I'm interested. And if you're not interested enough to buy in the end and it's not for you, that's absolutely fine. If it is for you, then this will be the moment to catch it. I've never done this before, and I have no intention of doing it again, because once it's out there, it's out there.
Excellent. Well, Paul, all there really is left to say is a heartfelt thank you. This has been absolutely amazing. I can't wait to go and have a look at my Instagram profile now and twiddle around with it a little bit more. And I know everybody else, if you do end up, well, I'm sure you will end up implementing Paul's advice, let us know. Share your new shiny Instagram profiles with us. And yeah, and follow Paul, because he really does have some excellent advice. Thank you so much to our lovely audience for all of your questions and your great participation. And thanks again, Paul. You've been brilliant.
Thank you so much again, Jenny. I've absolutely loved being here. And thank you, everyone who made it to the live. And if you're watching back on the replay, I hope to hear from you soon.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Goodbye.